right, what is going on, guys? It is time for another episode of the Chasing Waypoints podcast, and we are back. Absolutely excited. Very, very pumped. I hope you guys had a chance to join us on Waypoint Wednesdays. We got another one coming up this week. So we had last week, very first Waypoint Wednesdays was on and ready. And catch that, guys, on the YouTube channel. You definitely want to check that out. We had a chance to talk to Dave Pearson and Kyle McCoy, American Rally Originals, and talking about their project for the Dakar Rally. So definitely want to jump over to the YouTube channel and check that out. But that was then. This is now. We're going to be talking some more Rally Raid stuff today. We've got a rally calendar for you guys on today's episode, and then we've also got some special guests. We've got Ace and Keith working with High Desert Adventures, talking a little bit about the upcoming rally here in North America. So let's get right into it. You guys like that Sunday effect? Maybe one of these days I'll get that like reverb thing or whatever. But let's talk a little bit about it and talk more rally stuff. So while we wait for them to jump in, I'll do a quick intro. Let's talk rally calendar. So we got a lot of stuff coming up. Dakar Rally officially over. It is now time for our North American rallies to take over and get that limelight going. So here we go. This is what we've got going on right now. First rally up for this year, going to be the Sonora Rally, March 14th through 18th. That is going to be held out over on the mainland side of Mexico. Sonora Rally, obviously. Although the route and some of the stuff hasn't been announced, and I know that entries are still on hold, it's like this big wave just ready to get in there. So I've talked to a few people already about it, and there are a lot of people that are already interested, like come on, let's go. So I have a feeling we're going to have some news soon. We'll have some open entries soon, and we'll be able to get out there. But yeah, Sonora Rally, definitely a great event. I was able to finally attend the full event this last year, and it was pretty rad. It was definitely a tough day. It was definitely a lot hotter. I was happy I was in the bivouac, with everything ready to go and waiting for the guys to get back. So that was definitely good. Let's see what else it was. So 5 days, right? 14th through the 18th. This time around, or this last time around, it was just a short loop, basically down to Puerto Peñasco and back. So this year we'll see. The previous years they've gone further down into Hermosillo, that area. So looking forward to some more announcements here coming soon on that one. So let's see. All right, so that is the Sonora Rally that's coming up again. That's March 14th through 18th. Up next on the books is going to be, well, there's going to be it's a little bit of back and forth on this one. Let's see here. Make sure everybody got their link. Yeah, everybody's got their link. Just waiting for them to jump in. All right, I see Keith is in on this one, so hang tight, and we'll be with these guys in just a second. So let's go back to talk. All right, so we know Sonora Rally is going to be 14th through the 18th of March. That's tentative date, what they got right now. Again, entries are still on hold, but we're expecting news here shortly to get going on this. The next one to talk about is going to be the first was last year, but this time around it is going to be the Kota Rally. So that is taking part in Colorado and in Utah, mixed right there between the two. So for those of you not familiar, this is the first fully permitted, fully legal, AMA-sanctioned rally event in North America. So Mike over there running a real tight ship, start times, rally comps, everything, speed zones, point system. But best of all, this is a Malamoto-style event. So for those of you playing the home game, Malamoto, pretty easy. Your Malamoto events are or a class, or in Dakar as the Originals by Motul, is basically the old school way of rally raid, right? You have your boxes, you have your equipment, you got to pick wisely what you're taking to these events, because that's all you have. Your camping stuff, your food, everything, you've got to basically be self-sufficient for the entirety of the event. So Malamoto is a really, really cool class for that, because it does have that Ironman, that, kind of, I don't know, a little something extra, you have a little more sense of accomplishment. You don't have the help and support that you do when you have or go in as a team. This is something that's a little bit more difficult, harder on the body. The rest cycles, that kind of thing, is a little bit different when it comes to Malamoto. So you can get on over to the Kota Rally Adventures website for this. And basically the bikes have to be a street legal bike because, again, this is fully permitted, fully sanctioned. So the bikes have to be ready to go for road. You got to be wearing your protective gear and all that stuff. So there's a few rules to it, but everybody that left that rally afterwards, the pre-rally report or post-rally reports, everybody was absolutely stoked on the scenery and how the event went down. And you know, there was areas that were challenging, and there was stuff that was like, you know, your regular recreational rider, and then there was stuff that was all the way into, you know, full send, some pretty hardcore stuff. So again, Mike and the team for Kota Rally, running a really good ship, got all the stuff there, support the rescue, everything is just dialed in. So he did a very good job. You can tell it was a few years in planning to get it going, but was able to get it going and finally off the ground. And we're looking forward to this year. So for this year's event, it is September 10th through September 17th. So coming up in a few short months, 8 months from now, for this event. So entries are open for this. If you guys want to jump over to kotarallyadventures.com, you'll be able to get in and be able to see the events. And again, I'll post the links in the podcast description so you guys can jump on that one. So Sonora Rally, Kota Rally, and then of course, Baja Rally. So Baja Rally, we've got a few events coming for them, which was really cool. I was really happy to see this. First of all, is their 10-year anniversary for the now 6-day rally event. The 6-day rally event is going to be held on October 2nd through the 8th. They also have 2 other smaller events, which was something that was absolutely stoked that they're sticking with and going to make happen, is on May 20th through 22nd, you have the San Quintin Rally. So that one, a little bit south of Ensenada, but the terrain is epic. A lot of stuff out there to see. It was very, very beautiful countryside right near the water, as well as some dunes there for you as well. So a little bit of everything there. They do have a school tied in with that. They do have like a school class for that, where competitors can compete, even if they're not haven't been in a previous rally event. So it's kind of a combination of school and rally raid event as well. And that's coming up in May. That's May 20th through the 22nd for the San Quintin Rally. And then you're going to have in October the Baja Rally 6-day event. So they're opening it up one more day. It used to be 5 days, now going to 6 days. Again, that's October 2nd through the 8th. And then the final to decide that one. And I think they're doing points. I want to say they're doing points. The final event for that one is going to be the Catavenia Rally, which is going to be on December 1st through the 3rd. So these are more like weekend type events for those of you guys playing the home game and looking at getting into a smaller rally event without, you know, a real super huge commitment, you know, going 5 or 6 days, depending if it's Sonora Rally or the 6-day Baja Rally. These events are great primer stuff. If you only could make one of them, and you didn't want to go for 6 days, the Catavenia Rally, it's going to be cold in December in the mornings. The Catavenia Rally, when with my time at Baja Rally, everybody's favorite stages were always in and around the Catavenia area. For those of you that don't know the area, it is still further south of Ensenada. You're probably from San Diego to there, probably a good 5-6 hour ride. If you can make it through the town traffic and stuff like that. Or you could go through the San Felipe side. It is a little bit closer if you're familiar with that area where the 5 and the 1 meet. You're going to have to go a little bit north from there, about 30-45 minutes north of that junction to get to Catavenia. So that is like no man's land, no cell service. The only thing that works out there is satellite phones. Your internet is basically bought in 100 megabyte chunks. Or I don't know, or gigabyte chunk. I don't know what it's up to now. It's been a while since I've been there, but best sunsets, awesome little place. The food is always amazing. It's got a nice little bar in there for your non-adult beverages and adult beverages if you're into that. But a lot to see there. And again, that's probably my favorite area to visit. So I'm stoked that they're doing a rally there. And well, I've already put the time in off at work. So Just need to get it accepted. So anyway, so that is the rally calendar for this year. We'll talk a little bit more about the classes and categories and things like that are coming up for the Baja Rally. We'll talk a little bit more of that. And then we've got the Sonora Rally as well. So in chronological order, just to recap it, Sonora Rally coming up first, March 14th through the 18th. Then it is going to be the San Quintin Rally put on by Baja Rally. That is going to be May 20th through the 22nd. And then we go back to the Kota Rally. Kota Rally going to be September 10th through the 17th. And then we're on to the Baja Rally 6-day event, and that is going to be October 2nd through the 8th. And then followed by the finale in Catavina, December 1st through 3rd. So that is the event for the North American rallies, and I'm sure we got some more stuff maybe over on the East Coast, but we'll figure that out a little bit later. In the meantime, waiting patiently in the background, and I can see they've been here for a little bit, we're going to talk Sonora Rally, and we're going to be talking with Ace and Keith of High Desert Adventures. So let's see if they are there. Guys, you there?
I'm here. This is Keith.
All right.
Yep, I'm here too. Ace.
Nice. Well, welcome. Welcome to the party.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, of course. So we're getting ready. Another year of Rally Raid.
Yeah, man. I'm so ready for this. It seems like Dakar took forever to get here and finish, but now that it's over and looking ahead at the calendar and listening to you outline what's ahead for the rallies here in North America it's amazing that we have so many options. And compared to, just a few years ago, there weren't that many options. Mm-hmm. And it's just exciting to see the sport grow, and people are getting into it and they're excited and anxious to find some books. People are making their own books, and it's great.
Yep. Definitely growing, which is good. And you're right. There was Sonora Rally and there was Baja Rally, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then there's, I know that there's like a Sandblast Rally, and I know there's a couple things back east, but I got to do some more digging to figure out what those are about. But, for us desert and Dakar style rallies, I think that was our only options up till now.
Right.
Or crossing the pond. So what did you think about this year's Dakar? Did you get a chance to watch it all?
Oh, yeah. I was up at all hours of the night, like most people that are fans of rally, trying to get the latest information. I was getting text messages from guys over there at 2:00 in the morning. I got a text message from Johnny Campbell one night. It was 1:30 in the morning. I'm like, dude, what's going on? So, but I thought it was good. The tricky navigation that just kind of threw everybody for a loop on day one. Really threw a wrench in it for a lot of the top guys, but that's rally, I guess. It's, talking to a few guys that were there and what they encountered. I don't know how you prepare for that or train for that, because it was just like, it was totally off the book. And the guys that found the note were just kind of guessed, and as I understand it. So, I wasn't there, but, from talking to people, that's kind of how it went down. And unfortunately, a few of the top guys lost close to an hour and tried to play catch up the rest of the time. But it was basically game over from day one for a few of them. But super stoked the way Mason showed out there. I was bummed that I couldn't make it out to his fundraiser at Happy Dave's house. Keith and I were both in Baja doing a tour in November. We do a tour called Ride 1000 to watch the 1000. Mm-hmm. And we had a great group, 12 guys on tour and watched the 1000. So I wasn't able to attend that, but just really stoked to see him out there performing. And I think I met him for the first time at YSR in 2019. Mm-hmm. And he was just kind of cutting his teeth on the first few road books there, and to see how far he's come in a couple of years is just insane.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I'm almost fairly certain he caught a few people off guard, just a few.
You think? Yeah.
But, hey, that's, and you're right. You did mention it is Rally Raid. And you know what? And for him, it wasn't on the first stage, but on the second or third stage, I know he had a little bit of a snafu with the navigation and then a crash. So everybody just like in Baja, everybody at some point, pays, you got to pay the piper. Nothing's free. You're going to win some and you're going to lose some. And, but it was rough for a few guys on the first day, with that note and seeing it. And I mean, we've seen a few road books, and, you saw that Matthias Wagner posted some photos of what they were up against on those road books. And I'm going, yeah, this is this is next level for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So Keith.
Yes.
Let's talk about you. So you guys were down doing the Ride 1000 to watch the 1000?
Yep.
Nice. How long you been hanging out with Ace?
I've been a partner with Ace. I've known him since 2006. I've been a partner, I think, for, 5 or 6 years now with him in High Desert Adventures.
Nice.
I have a lot of race experience. I've been racing about 40 years, I suppose.
Nice.
Mostly off-road, desert, and woods events. I'm from the Pacific Northwest, so a lot of woods events. And we actually have we used to have anyways, a real pretty serious desert scene up here also.
Yeah. Interesting. Dodging trees, though, does sound a bit dangerous.
Well, this is what I grew up on, was
okay.
Dodging the trees in the mud. So when I went to the desert, I found it pretty easy comparatively.
Yes, I could imagine. Well, actually, you know what? You're probably going to be better than most then at missing the choyas and the cactuses.
Yeah, most of the time. I did have a big experience with one back in the late 80s that is one of my better stories. But anyways,
did you go in for a hug?
Too good. Yeah, that's too good to pass up, Keith. You got to share that one.
Yeah, if you got time. I was pre-running actually the Baja 1000 in '88 out by myself, and I'd been on an XR 600, and then I got on my KX 250 race bike, which was way faster and way zippier, and I'm just hauling butt. I overshoot a corner, and there's a log out there. I figure I'll just kind of get back onto the road. I'm probably doing 70. I wheelie over the log, and it just launches me over the bars. So I do this upside down backwards and landed right on a big choya. And then my bike landed on me and pinned me there. So I had hundreds of them in me, all in my back and everywhere. They were just everywhere. So that's my choya story. I had to ride maybe 30 or 40 miles back to the truck, but I got out, and yeah, that's my choya. That's my big choya story.
Okay, it was choya sandwich.
Yeah,
you, the cowie, and the choya. I'm
really leery around cactus anymore, for sure.
I feel like that incident might have had a small effect on that.
Yes,
impact.
Absolutely.
Well, the good thing is you got out of there, and I can only imagine, the pain that ensued after. But,
absolutely.
Yeah. What about you, Ace? Have you had any run-ins with the choyas?
Just very, very small in comparison, not even worth mentioning.
Oh, okay.
It's, I think it was Cameron or Jimmy that was telling me, if you're riding a trail built by Jimmy Soanes, you need to ride it, especially when it's new, you ride it sitting down. If you're riding a Bill Nichols trail out there and it's fairly new, you want to ride it standing up, because the lean angles and how they rode it after they built it, it kind of determines how you approach the trail. So it's good to know who the builder was and what their style of riding was, because that's where the trail is, and that's where the cactus won't be. So you kind of mimic the trail builder to avoid the cactus. And ever since I learned that little tidbit, even though I like to ride standing up, when I'm on a Jimmy Soanes trail, I'll sit down.
So there's some method to the madness there, and it's really because it's just been pre-cleaned for you by them.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So for those, of course, playing the home game, the choya is a very special cactus. While most think it's not an animate object or inanimate object, it is. It jumps out at you.
Absolutely does. Yeah.
And that's question. How you 2 out of 3 people agreed with that without even a pause. So yes, this cactus will literally jump out at you, and it seems like it's easily detached. So it's not like it just sticks back to where it was. It's not like a quick poke. No, this thing like goes for the ride.
It breaks off in chunks.
Yeah. and then
sticks to you. Yeah.
And it goes through handguards.
It goes through knee guards. It goes through backpacks, everything.
Yeah. So it has,
and they're barbed. They don't want to come back out.
So for most Baja racers, it has a very near and dear, heartfelt feeling for people. They've experienced it. Yeah. I've only had run-ins with them in the cars. And the best part about it is in the car, you're hauling butt and you're doing all this, and your first instinct is to grab it with your hand.
Right.
You're in a hurry.
Yeah.
And the car's moving, and it's moving. Can't be much different on a bike. But yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who headed to Baja for the first time, watch out for the Choyas.
Watch out for sure.
And even if you don't hit them, they seem to find a way. I remember once I was riding pretty tight formation when there was 3 or 4 of us going through the single track leading to Bay of LA, and one of the guys ran over one and it flipped it up in the air. And I saw it go up in the air. I was like, "Oh no, that's going to come down." And you can't look up, right? Because if you look up, you're going to run into the Choya that are lining the trail. So you just kind of hope and pray that it doesn't land on you. Yeah, and in this case, it didn't. But man, they attack you from all angles. It's bizarre.
I'm feeling this like Forrest Gump describing the rain. Raining sideways, and some days it felt like it was I kind of feel
some days it's coming up at you.
Yeah. So I feel like the Choya kind of seems, but it's funny. It won't stick to the tire. It'll just fling off the tire.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
But somehow gets stuck on everything else.
Yep.
Oh man. All right. Well, how comparatively speaking, I don't think you get that much Choya out in the Sonora side of things, right?
No, not a lot of Choya out there.
No. And you, Ace, last year was your first year at Sonora Rally, or had you done that before?
It would have been my third. I had to pull out of the 2020 Sonora Rally because of the pandemic and my responsibilities at the hospital. So I raced 2019 and I raced 2021.
Gotcha. Okay. So terrain-wise out there in Sonora Rally, what would you say for those listening? Wow.
You get a full, it's a full meal deal. I think you get a pretty good variety. There's a lot of sand roads. There's some 2-track, there's some, what would be single track through the grass, leading to the dunes, and then a lot of sand dunes and big sand dunes.
Yeah. So you get it. So full boat.
Yeah. Throw in some beach riding, some stuff along the shoreline there, into the various places that we go, some farming roads. I mean, there's a little bit of everything, but a lot of dunes, a lot of sand dunes.
Nice. So for those of you planning on coming, make sure you've been practicing your HP.
Yeah, for sure.
So Keith, have you done any rally raid stuff? What have you?
I have not. No, my trip to Sonora will actually be my first time to a rally at all. And of course, I'm not going to be riding it, but I will be offering services to racers down there.
Nice. So yeah, so let's actually talk a little bit about that. So last year, Ace, you were with the conflict team, right? You came down with Alex and those guys, Rally Pan Am. And rode with them, supported.
Yeah.
And so kind of what was that like? And then what's going on this year?
Well, I can't say enough about Alex and his team. Rally Pan Am has been in this game for a long time. And the full meal deal, I mean, they provide support from the time you get off the airplane in Sedona until you cross back over the border. And when I contacted Alex last year in preparation for, laying out my schedule for rally this year, just checking with him about providing support at Sonora, he let me know that he wasn't going to be providing support, that he was going to be racing. So on one hand, I was super excited that, this guy that I've known for quite a while and been friends with and done a lot of business with was going to actually get out and enjoy the sport of rally, because he's a great rider and a very good navigator. I was excited about that, but completely bummed that there was no support. So I started talking with Keith and hatched a plan to provide support through High Desert Adventures. It's not very different than what we do for our customers when they come on tour with us down in Baja or Central Oregon. And pretty quickly, we determined that we could provide a quality product for the racers of Sonora. I actually called Alex just to double check to make sure he wasn't going to change his mind and that they weren't going to re-enter the game. And he said no, and in fact encouraged me to do it. So next call was to Darren with Sonora Rally to kind of get his blessing and make sure that we could provide a product to his standard, and he was all in on that. And there'll be a link on the Sonora website of how to sign up with us, and a link to our website. We'll get into that. But yeah, that's kind of how this plan was hatched. And so I will be racing, and Keith is going to manage the support aspect with assistance from Gnarly Dave, who I know you know.
Mm-hmm. Most of the off-road community knows Gnarly. Gnarly Dave is famous.
He does have a bit of a following, doesn't he?
He does.
For sure.
Don't let him fool you. Yeah, no, he's great people. I mean, there's very few people that, I did have a questionable hill experience on a 790 with him, and I will never forget the words, "I will never put you through something I don't think you can handle." And then had a miniature heart attack at the top of this hill. But, but yeah, he's definitely great people, knows a lot about bikes. And then, I mean, of course, he's not only forms part of the team with you guys, but also with Honda and the Johnny Campbell team as well. So
right. Yep.
That's an awesome duo. So you'll get to have fun, and they'll get to wrench and manage them. And
I'll get to have fun just hanging out with Gnarly Dave too.
Yeah, that is.
For sure.
Is this Keith? So this will be like first time in the bivouac for you?
Yep, absolutely.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
So I'll just be relying on my my past racing experience, what I liked to and what I found helpful to help other people.
Oh yeah,
and I'll be learning the whole time too, which is always good.
Yeah, well, the best part about it is I think that you're going to see firsthand is the everybody's racing from the green flag to the checkered flag, but when it comes to the bivouac, everybody's just BSing. It's bench racing and talking about notes and how they did circles in the desert for a half hour trying to figure out where the stupid point was, and it's the road book maker's fault, and there's no way it's their fault, and yeah. Yep. You'll get all the stories.
It sounds like a lot of other racing that I've done too. So yeah, that'll be good.
Nice. So let's see. So, I mean, you said racing since the 80s. So, I mean, you're familiar around bikes and wrenching on and doing all that stuff. So that's awesome.
Yep.
And I think that's important. I think just like how some of the teams, like, I mean, if you think like Mason at Dakar or any of the teams that are supported where it's not Malimoto, that's a very big deal to have somebody that can work on the bike, wrench on the bike, that knows what they're doing.
Right.
And takes that pressure off for sure.
Right. Yep, for sure.
Nice. So let's see. So we've got, so you guys are going to be running support and helping racers out. I don't know. Can we talk a little bit about like the plan, like what you guys see happening? I mean, logistics, anything that you guys can share with the listeners, if they're looking, if I'm in back east and I want to come race the Sonora Rally, what does that look like as a supported rider by you guys?
So I think that my intention is to provide breakfast in the morning, and then I'll have snacks throughout the day available at our gas pits. We're going to have 2 trucks operating, so we'll be leapfrogging remote gases. Mm-hmm. And then we'll be all set up at the bivouac to be able to work on bikes at night and change oil, tires, air filters, whatever needs to be done for supported riders. And then we are potentially also offering a Malimoto program also.
Nice.
Which would still be the breakfast and the snacks throughout the day and the gas, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have their basic, but then when it comes to the nighttime stuff, right? Are you guys, I imagine, are splitting it up, and they have their area and you have your area, or something like that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So you'll have both sides of the coin there. You'll have the Iron Man guys, right? They got a wrench on their bikes on their own, and then you'll have that section. It's awesome,
right?
So perfect. And then Ace, you did mention, I guess there's going to be a link or something like that, right, on the Sonora website to get a hold of you guys. And
correct, yeah. So they can go directly to our website at highdesertadventures.net. And click on the link. It's up on the top bar. It's called Race Support. That'll take you directly to the outline for Sonora, kind of what we'll be providing there, kind of a recap of what Keith just said. And they have an option for full support, or if they're entering the Maui Moto class. The details of that, if there's going to be a specific class, are still being worked out with Darren and Sonora. But if that comes to fruition, then we will obviously be the people to support that. And they'll have their box, and we'll transport their box from one location to the next. And like he said, when they get to the bivouac, they'll have a canopy to work under, and appropriate lighting, tire changing tools if needed. We'll wait and see if they do have a class for that. There'll be specific rules about who can do what, and if tire changing can be outsourced, then obviously that's something we can do for them as well.
Nice. I hope they do that class, because I mean, that thing is I think there's a lot of people that are kind of want to get into this, but are more of the adventurer, type, and they want to go full send into it. So I think that's, I hope they do it. I really do.
I do too. David Pearson and we put together a proposal for Darren and the Sonora Rally crew, and one that I think would not make it difficult for them, right? We don't want to add to their already busy schedule and tasks that they have a pretty big punch list already that they have to tend to. So we don't want to add to that burden. And I think we can provide a service and oversee the class in such a way that it would not be a burden to Darren and his crew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cause it is a lot of work to put on a rally. There's a lot of moving pieces. So I can imagine he's full send right now anyway. So
yeah, I think about what we do in preparation for, a tour. We've got a tour coming up in February here. And I would say throughout the year, the preparation that goes into that, the logistics, the planning, the route, the accommodations, the food, checking out of each rider, the registration, the medical piece, medics, bike recovery, chase support, fuel, all of those things. I mean, we probably, just between Keith and I, put in probably 1,000 hours plus in preparation for each tour that we put on. So I mean, you probably have to triple that to put on an event like Sonora. So I know that planning and preparation starts the day after we complete our tour for the next year. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure it's the same way for Darren.
Yeah. And time runs out really quick, especially, I mean, where he runs, to be able to verify road books. You basically, once the event is done, you have a really small window, and which was even smaller last year, because you have to be out there before the heat, or you got to go back out after. But then after, you start running into holidays, other racing commitments and stuff like that. Because from what I understand, Darren still is active in the off-road side of things as well, not just in the rally raid. But yeah, so it definitely makes a difference. So it has been a little bit since we had you on the show. How's the tour thing going? I mean, what do you guys, are you still doing the same rides? I know the 1,000 to watch the 1,000.
That was a good tour in November. Had a great crew. We stayed in some remote destinations, spots down in Baja that I'd never been to and had wanted to check out. So, we did a little bit of pre-running and checked some things out, and it worked out really good. there's a little, I'm not going to give it away, but there's a little spot just west of Catapina, probably about 15, 17 miles off the grid, up on top of a mountain, and just epic.
Nice.
Epic. Not anyone else around. Truly the never. There's no fuel out there. There's no cell service. There's no gasoline. You know, you got to be prepared to go out there. But once you get there, we had an epic time. Rode some great trail. Just an outstanding group of guys. The pace was great. We didn't have, but just a couple minor mechanicals, no injuries. So it was a great time, and already getting requests for November of 2022. So
nice.
Excited about that. I will be putting on the November tour, and Keith has another plan for November of this coming year. He can speak to that a little bit if he wants to. I kind of set him up there.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I am going to
race the Ironman class in the Baja 1000.
Oh, there we go.
So I believe at that point I will be the oldest one to ever do it, which is exciting to me. So
nice.
Yeah, I've been training and working with Rob Beams, the trainer, and really getting my butt in shape for it. So
yes, because that will be the 1,000 is no joke. And I mean, you've raced for a long time, so this isn't. You're going to come at this probably in a more calculated approach than the guy that just goes, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. I've raced, we have a series up here too that's an Ironman series. So I've raced 6 hours, 12 hours, and then 24-hour races also up here. Yeah. Ironman. So I think I have a good idea how to do it going in.
Nice. So here's one, and I think this has actually got a little bit of crossover, and I want both of you guys to answer this one. So Keith, we'll start with you. Is how do you set up a bike that you're going to have to ride for the next 30 hours in like a Baja 1000?
Well, I would set it up. I am setting it up to have supple suspension, and then just protective gear, protective everything, hand guards, skid plates, all that kind of stuff.
Gotcha. Motors? Do you do anything to the motor?
Nope, I don't.
Yeah.
I ride a KX 450. I don't do anything to the motors.
Okay. So softer.
And then good lights, of course.
Okay. Do you have a light preference?
I don't know that I know enough about them to do it. I have just a Baja design Squadron on it right now, which I think is bright enough, but one of the guys going on our tour is bringing another light that I'm going to try out down there also.
Okay. Yeah, so. I think everybody's pretty much onto the XL80s or XL Pros or whatever. It's like running two of those.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. And that's another.
And I'm gonna test it a little bit and see if I can run it with my electrical system.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that's another important. So there's definitely a lot of moving pieces to set a bike up to that.
Yeah, for sure. And then obviously a steering damper and things like that.
Yeah, the basics, the desert tank, the damper.
Exactly.
Do you run typically run the headlight off the frame, or are you running it on the on a headlight?
Mine's just on the forks at this point in time.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yep.
All right.
In the past, I would have with bigger lights, but I don't know that it's that necessary anymore, because with the LED lights being as small as they are and as light as they are, I'm not sure it's that critical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the big, the back in the days, right? The Danny Hamill days, where the two 8-inch and a 6-inch.
Yep, exactly.
But
big
now you get
lights or Sabias or whatever. Yeah.
CB or whatever is the other brand, old school brand. Yeah. I think we still got a set of those lying around somewhere. Probably worth some gold now on eBay.
Probably.
Yeah. All right, Ace. What do you do to set up a bike?
Well, I'm with Keith. I think you leave the motor stock. You want it to be as reliable as possible. You can get away with some minor head work and the aftermarket exhaust, but I think that's about it. And I would say for this Ironman class, it's not even as critical. Top speed isn't as critical as it is on a team. So yeah, I agree. Full full on with what Keith said there. And then I think more important is the body prep versus the bike prep, and the pit support going along with it. Yeah. I raced the 2009 Baja 1000 with one other person. I rode the first 460 miles. He rode the last 480 miles. And for me, I divvied it up into the pit stops. And there was, basically a pit stop every 60 miles. So I treated it like, just get to the next pit, just get to the next pit. The next pit is the next race, And each time I got to the pit, I'd eat and drink as much as I could, really concentrate on carbohydrates and, banana and some shot block and whatever I could stuff in me in the amount of time that it took them to dump the fuel can and wipe my goggles clean and then take off again. So, I don't have a whole lot more to add. I think definitely running bibs down there, for sure. And having a plan of when to swap the tires, knowing how long that they'll last. And I'm sure Keith will cover that in his testing and stuff when he's down there. That's part of what we're doing with the tour, is using as a little bit of a testing ground for some of the products that he'll be using in the 1000.
Oh, there we go. A little bit of R&D.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's good. So that'll give you a chance to kind of try out and see what's going to work for you and what you might need to adopt and change.
Right. Right. And I'll be on a similar bike to what I am now. So everything should pretty much directly transfer over. The interesting one, and Ace, you just mentioned it too, is the mooses. I mean, that's kind of quickly evolved to the only way to ride these things now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I've just gone down that rabbit hole, and I mean, there's different sizes, there's obviously different companies, there's, and then what lube should I use for my tire mousse is almost only outshadowed, or like, I don't know how to necessarily put, the only bigger question than that is, what oil should I run?
Right.
Because then with Moose Lube, then at least the manufacturer tells you only run this much amount of oil. But with Moose Lube and stuff like that, it seems like, well, some people, it's like, I put about 2 pounds of it in there, and then I put the mousse in, and then other guys are 2 tubes, and then the next guy's like 1 tube, and then put some toothpaste in it as well. I don't, there's.
Yeah, so we were just mounting up mousses and tires and stuff in preparation for our upcoming tour in February, and we were in the garage, Keith and I, and we were prepping the rear tire for that's going on my bike, and so we were using a combination of tire soap and Moose Lube. I said, so he lubed one of them up with tire soap, and he said, about to put it in. I said, no, we're going to add Moose Lube on top of the tire soap as an experiment for this one. So we've got wheels that are marked with certain combinations, and we'll run the 1,350 miles that we're going to run in February, and then we'll report back at which moose survived the best.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. You can just, you read about different people, preferences and theories and stuff like that, and until you go out and test it and try it for yourself, you won't know what works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, like something else that I had seen, and this was in reading an article about the Best in the Desert bike, the 450 KTM, was using a slightly larger mousse for the tire. So I think Nitro Mousse does a pretty good job of listing what size mousse goes with which tire, because that is critical. But then in this article, they said they would run a slightly larger one for the events that had higher speed. So,
well, this just happened the other night too when we were doing this, because I had one that was a little bit smaller, and we decided we'd put the bigger one in so it would feel like it had more pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So, because we are doing a 1,350 mile ride here in a couple weeks. So,
yeah, and I mean, so it makes sense to me, right? So a little bit more air pressure would probably generate less heat, which we know heat is what screws the mousses up.
Right.
Exactly.
Yep.
Interesting. But yeah, then, okay, well, how much bigger can you go? What's the deal? And then the other side of it is the rider weight, because 1 to 2 pounds difference makes a difference in the tire, which is the equivalent of, you know, somebody being a little heavier, a little bit lighter, that kind of thing. So,
right.
Oh man, it's only money, right?
It's only money. That's right. And time.
And time. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The worst is to have, you know, have a complete moose failure out there and then, not, you know, have to put a tube in it or do something or, you know, or hopefully at least you're prepared for that. But I feel like that doesn't happen that often anymore. I feel like mooses have become pretty bomb proof.
I agree. But I was concerned with the smaller moose tube that I had that I, you know, slamming a berm or something, or that I knock the bead off because it would be like it had 10 pounds in it or 8 pounds of air in it, feeling like that, as opposed to maybe 13 or 14 with the bigger moose tube in it.
Yeah. And what do you guys typically run? The Michelin stuff, or are you on the Nitro Moose stuff?
In the front, I still have a little bit of a stash of the golden tire moose.
Oh.
Which I consider kind of, they're like gold right now, and they stopped importing them because of the tariffs and stuff that are just so outrageous. But I've still got 20 or so of those left, so we'll be running those up front, and then the Nitro. I think we have the Nitro in one, and we have the Michelin in another. So we're doing some testing just to see which one's going to last.
There we go. All right, nice. So that's good. So I think that brings a lot of value too for the people that are maybe coming to Sonora and doing the package and going to be working with you guys, because you guys are actually experimenting and doing tours and stuff like that, and not short miles either. I mean,
no.
What's the shortest tour that you guys do?
Shortest one would be up in the high desert of Central Oregon. It's called the Wild West Tour. And basically it's a 3-day, just over 400-mile ride. So it's about 150 miles each day.
Nice. All right. When, we'll go back and revisit it, but I remember we talked about it, and then the terrain and everything like that. I mean, it's pretty easy going, but very picturesque. No?
It's beautiful up here. You can't beat it.
I don't know. I'm going to have to come up there because I have, to me, Catavina is top. You know, with the what is it? The bosom trees or whatever it is? The Dr. Seuss trees that are out there.
Yeah.
Bosoms.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty top, but you know, hey, it's different areas.
That's where we actually watched the 1,000 this year. Was all out of Catavina.
Oh, nice.
So we went out in the morning and watched the bikes come through, and then went out at night and watched the trophy trucks come through, and the top buggies.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, and I'm sure that was pretty. That area gets pretty beat up. You know. Oh
yeah, which is great to watch the trophy trucks in.
Yeah. It just it leads to. Well, I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen the courses through there. I know previously, because that's an interesting area, because it is actually a protected area, protected land, and you got to do like studies and environmental impact studies and stuff like that to get through there. So it's interesting to see. You know, I think that with the races, because I previously working with Baja Rally, I know that was a very big deal, making sure you had all the permits and everything through there. So. It's cool.
Well, they did run from Catavina south. They ran the pavement for quite a while to get around an area.
Okay.
During the race. I mean, it's speed limited, obviously, but during the race, they ran it down the pavement.
Okay. Yeah. So so that's kind of what we figured. It was coming, because even, you know, a couple of years ago now, when I was still with the organization, there was already being meetings and stuff like that about that, hey, you know, you guys are running through this, but, you know, we haven't seen a permit. We haven't seen anything. Through there. Yeah. So, which, you know, I agree with, because, you know, for the people that have visited down there and seen that area, it's just amazing, you know? So,
yep.
Awesome. All right. So let's see here. We've got, all right. So we got the plan. We already know, March 14th through the 18th right now. We're just waiting for entries to open, for the Sonora Rally. Though, if you are, I'm thinking, though, even though that hasn't opened, it's probably time to start talking to you guys, right, about support?
Yeah, we're going to have a limited number of spots. We're going to cap it at 10 riders. And, we do that not to exclude anybody, but just provide the highest level of support we possibly can with the number of people that we have supporting the event. And, to be honest, it's our first time going down there as a support team, and we want to get it right. So, we have the equipment and could probably round up the personnel to take on more, but we are going to cap it at 10 riders this year. So if this is something that you want to do and your plan is to go to Sonora and you need rider support, whether it be Maui Moto or full support, you want to come in, drop your bike and wake up in the morning to a fresh prepped bike for the race. We're your people right now.
Yeah. Nice. And then, so got to go to High Desert Adventures with the website again.
highdesertadventures.net.
.net. Okay. highdesertadventures.net. And again, I'll put the link in the podcast stuff as well. So we could get people there. So limited to 10 riders for this time around. And I think that's pretty cool. I mean, if you guys, you've got it calculated, you've got the tour experience, you've done this before. It's just happens to be a slightly different organization and event. So.
Right.
Nice. So cool. So anything else the guys should know before coming to Sonora and then getting set up? Anything you guys would recommend?
I just think having your bike ready before you leave is the best preparation, is the best plan for success. So, get your stuff dialed now, work out any kinks. If you're putting something new on your bike, get out and test it in the real world environment before taking it to a race. I mean, that's pretty basic knowledge, but for somebody that's just getting into rally, or maybe this is their first time coming down, make sure your road book is secure. Like if you put it on for the first time, I remember the first time I mounted up my moto-minded tower and took it out and rode, 50 miles. I had quite a few, nuts and bolts that had come loose, and that's part of breaking it in. You got to go back through, find the stuff that, came loose, put some red Loctite on it or whatever your preference is for locking stuff down, and identify the weak points and sort that stuff out. It's nothing negative about the kit. I think every kit has that. It's just like riding a new bike for the first time. You don't go out and race it right off the showroom floor. You take it out, ride it, bring it home, and go through it and check in and see what needs to be tightened and what needs to be fixed and adjusted, and make sure it's set up for you and your preferences and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. So don't don't do zero maintenance and then expect it to be brought up to race spec.
No.
Right.
At the event. Got
After you've raced it the first day. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then, so things to watch out for when prepping the bike, electrical. I think that's probably one of the...
Electrical is huge. I mean, if you're adding a kit for the first time, pay a really close attention to how you're routing your wires, where the rub points are. Make sure you can turn your bars full lock left and right, or wherever you have them adjusted to. Make sure your seat after you install it, it's not pinching anything that you installed that's aftermarket. Those are the most common failures, is a wire that's misrouted, or it's routed across something that you don't even realize is sharp. And sometimes it doesn't even have to be sharp to chafe on a brake line or something like that. And then it becomes an issue for you on day 3 or 4 of the rally, and your road book doesn't function. So, we'll be prepared to chase those kind of things and help people out.
Yeah.
Do whatever we need to do to keep them in the game.
But once again, for those of you playing the home game, if you think that's going to happen in the pits, it's not. It's going to be when you're in the middle of some dune trying to get up it when it decides to quit. Then you got to make it back to Ace and Keith and Gnarly Dave.
Yep.
Then it's a whole other story. Yeah. Once it's in the pits, we're good.
Right.
The problem is just making the loop. So awesome. So, it looks like I'm going to be running into you guys down there. And I'm looking forward to it. See some,
yeah, definitely.
Yep.
See some rally stuff.
I think if we can do half I think we can do as well as, Pan Am has done for me in the Rally Pan Am in the past for me. And I think the last time I was on your show, Victor, you kind of put me on the spot regarding a crash that I had in Sonora, and I didn't really talk about it. I think I kind of evaded the question, if you will, or just kind of side skirted it a little bit. And I think it was a little bit too fresh, and I was still licking my wounds.
Oh, well, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, it's all good. But so what happened? It was day 3, and I was probably 180 to 200K through the 400K day. Or whatever the length was. Somebody will go back up and look it up. But it was a long day, and we were riding some desert terrain that kept crisscrossing like a little creek bed or riverbed. And day was going fantastic. No navigation errors, riding really good. The bike was performing awesome. And we came across this creek bed again, and there was like three roller whoops kind of thing. And I doubled the first 2, and then I decided that I could probably clear the creek bed if I jumped the third one. So I gave it a big handful of throttle and clutched it. And I don't know exactly what happened on takeoff, but I drug the foot peg or I clipped something. I still don't know what happened, but it changed the attitude of the bike in a not very good way. And I was pointed down at the creek bed, and unfortunately I didn't clear it. Ooh. And so, fourth gear, probably going 50, 55 miles an hour, and come up short on a creek bed that had a 2-foot lip on the other side. And I just nailed it. I just straight into it full on. It blew up the tower. Amazingly, my electronic road book, the ICO road book, the Tower 1, continued to work. I don't know how, but it did. And another rider came on and physically had to pick me up out of the sand. I was still trying to catch my breath and stuff. Jacked up my wrist and just destroyed the bike. Didn't hurt it terribly. I could ride it, but the fender was twisted and this and that. But the reason I tell this story is I brought back just a complete disaster of a motorcycle, and the guys at Rally Pan Am worked their butts off through the night to turn it around and get me back out there the next day. And I woke up to a freshly, prepped bike that was ready to go out and, tackle another day. And that's what we're hoping to do for the guys that sign up to ride with us. We know the task at hand is not, it's not easy. It's going to make for some very long days. But with Keith and Gnarly Dave, as our 2 mechanics in the pit, and the other helpers that we got coming along, I have no doubt that we'll be able to provide a top-notch rally service for these guys.
Yeah. And, the cool thing is obviously Alex has participated in these events and done a lot of roadbook stuff as well. But, to the fact that you've raced it and will be out there as well, we'll be in the thick of it along with these guys. So I think that provides some help as well, in doing that. Obviously you're running your own rally raid and your own race, but when you guys are back and talking about notes that might've been tricky and things like that, it will obviously be a help to the guys. For sure. We've already got a couple guys committed to ride with us, and I don't think he'll mind me saying, but Jacob Augerbright will be under our canopy, and of course he's got all kinds of riding experience and is quickly climbing in the ranks of the rally world with intentions of getting to Dakar just like myself. So more about that to come. Yeah, no, and I definitely I gotta catch up with him, because I know he went overseas. I think it was did he go to Morocco? Was it Morocco that he was on the? I think he was finally on full-fledged rally bike out in. I'm pretty sure it was the Morocco rally. The signature red helmet, I think, is the or orange.
Orange. Yeah.
Orange.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I gotta catch up with him and see how that's going. But yeah, I've been seeing he's been doing a lot of road book stuff and training hard. So that's awesome. That sounds cool to have him there. And last year he was on it.
I have never seen somebody more determined than Jake last year. I mean, he blew up his bike on day one or day two, and basically drove back to San Diego to. Or had his dad drive back. Somebody drove back. I don't remember exactly who, but drove back, picked up a spare motor from his dad, I think, who brought it to San Diego, brought it back out to Sonora, installed the motor, and was on the line the next day. And then something happened with that one, and it blew up. And I think he borrowed a bike from Mason to finish out the rally.
He did.
And just a never say die, never quit attitude, never had just never had a negative thing to say, was stoked on the ride, the terrain, and the experience more than anything. I mean, just a phenomenal athlete and great competitor to have out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, and you're right. Because every time, I mean, the first 2 days when we walked by, I remember seeing him. I'm like, dude, that bike is down to the frame. I mean, he's got to do some surgery. I'm not going to walk over there right now, but I could see from afar, but you're right. I mean, he was just on it. And then, for Mason and them to step up and allow him to do some stress testing on the Moto-Minded tower, was really cool. I mean, it didn't skip a beat and he made it to the end,
right.
Which is awesome. So that,
and he was injured. I think he had a fractured ankle at the end of it and still finished.
Oh, really?
Or a fractured foot or something on day 4 or 5. He crashed and injured something. I remember taking him an ice pack on the last day and kind of just checking over his foot and stuff. But yeah, he had some sort of injury that he was out for 6 to 8 weeks after the rally.
Ooh. Yeah. I wonder if that happened. Cause I know he took a tumble on that bike and the that was what I was referring to by the stress testing of the Moto-Minded tower.
Yep.
I know he took a tumble, and I mean the only thing that busted was the windshield. But I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know he had. Well, I'm sure with the adrenaline when he showed up at the line, he was still pretty stoked. But it's funny how things change when the adrenaline wears off.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Everything starts getting a little stiffer. You start all the creaks. Everything comes back.
Yeah.
Oh man, awesome. Well, cool. Well, so we'll get some links up. We got to get some guys over there because limited room, 10 riders, but it sounds like you already got a couple committed. So yeah, and then we got an event coming up. Oop, did I lose you guys? Everybody there?
Nope, I'm here.
All right.
I'm still here.
Awesome. Well, perfect. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on the show. We'll get this up. I'll actually let's see. We didn't do one yesterday, so we'll get it up there tonight. So we'll start getting some people headed your way. I'll get all the website information and all of that, and then we'll get it out there.
Awesome. Sounds good, Victor. Good. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah.
Appreciate the time.
Absolutely. Thanks, you guys. Have a good evening, and we're going to see you guys soon.
All right. Thanks, Victor.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So there you have it. That was Ace Nilsson from High Desert Adventures, along with Keith Payton, who's going to be one of the mechanics assisting for the rally support this year down at Sonora. And, of course, Gnarly Dave, always putting in the hours, wasn't able to make tonight's show, but he is with us in spirit. And but you guys will get to meet him in person. If you haven't already heard his episode, rewind back a couple of shows and you'll see it there, the interview with Gnarly Dave. And then also, if you skip back a little bit further, you're going to also run across the episode with Ace Nilsson from High Desert Adventures. So definitely want to check those out and take a listen to that. We do have more coming up for you guys, but don't forget, Waypoint Wednesdays live stream. So got questions, got stuff like that. I'll send a link. I'll make sure I get at least Ace or maybe Keith on there too. So if you guys have questions about Sonora Rally and riding as a supported rider with the High Desert Adventure crew, you guys can ask the questions there. That is on Wednesday at 7:15 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or minus 8 hours Greenwich Mean Time if you guys are on that clock. But yeah, I'm absolutely stoked. Last weekend was fun, or last week for Waypoint Wednesdays was cool. We had again Dave Pearson and then Kyle McCoy on the show as well, talking a little bit about Dakar and running the Malamoto thing. As you guys heard right now, it sounds like Sonora and Ace and Dave Pearson are all working on a possible Malamoto class, liking the sound of that. But then we also have the Malamoto class coming up, or Malamoto rally event known as the Kota Rally, coming up in a couple short months. It's going to be actually fast. I got a feeling this is going to be another fast year. So anyway, that's enough rambling from me. I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share, do all that fun stuff. Check the description below for the links to High Desert Adventures, the Sonora Rally, and so you guys can get some more information of that. Do remember, if you are planning on signing up to be a supported rider with High Desert Adventures, they are limiting it to 10 spots, and it sounds like they've already got a couple of those sold and ready. So Sonora Rally registration, I don't think, has officially opened. We could check it really quick while we're doing this outro. But let's see here. Entry fees, register now. And it looks like, it looks like they've got a login now. So I don't know. Check it out. See if you guys can get in if you're planning on getting signed up for the Sonora Rally. But if you are planning on riding as if you are planning on riding as a supported rider, go over and check out the highdesertadventures.net website and talk to those guys about getting set up. So with that being said, guys, I hope everybody's having a good week so far. We'll see you for Waypoint Wednesdays again, 7:15 p.m. live stream on the YouTube channel. Just look up Chasing Waypoints and you'll find us there. So with that being said, all right, that is a wrap for the Chasing Waypoints podcast this week. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what you heard. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and a bunch of others. Also, follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook under Chasing Waypoints, Instagram Chasing Waypoints _official, and of course, the YouTube under Chasing Waypoints. Hope everybody has a good week. We will see you guys for the next episode. Remember, shiny side up, and don't forget to tag us. We want to see where you guys are riding and what you guys are up to. Have a great week.